All right, so not too long ago, I did a couple videos on this Ronald Meir. He's the former mayor of Michigan City, Indiana, which is sort of a sister town to LaPorte, Indiana. Um, they're both in LaPorte County. For instance, there's a Michigan City courthouse and a City of LaPorte courthouse. If you go to LaPorte Superior Court 1, 4, or 2, you got to go to Michigan City. Anyway, so the mayor got himself in some hot water, basically trying to use the police and his political power to get his stepson out of a case involving some drugs and weapons charges. And basically, the police, they did a mutiny. And they all resigned very publicly, and basically they're suing him, and as you can see, the city of Michigan City here. They've got some very high-powered attorneys from a large law firm, um, but basically these four officers that resigned are suing Michigan City and Mayor Ron Meir. Um, I'm going to show you the complaint here. All right. So, this is filed a little over 3 weeks ago. Wasn't, wasn't really keeping too much track of it, so I didn't do a video yet. So it's a little bit old, but here in a minute we'll get to why I'm doing a video on it now. Anyway, so here's the complaint. So these officers are all part of the LaPorte County Drug Task Force. They're basically, claiming that their reputations have been damaged. All this stuff here. Your basics. All right, so yeah, so here we go. Anyway, his son or stepson, whatever you want to call it, gets arrested. Possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon, possession of cocaine or narcotic drug, resisting law enforcement. The police are sticking to this being a lawful arrest. Now the mayor is basically claiming that it was politically motivated by the prosecutor's office, Mr. John Lake here. Basically, his son was arrested in possession of drugs and a firearm because of his status as mayor. So he basically, he tried to put out all this stuff to basically force the police to get the charges dropped, and they went public with all of this. And locally, it was pretty interesting. Quite a story. Anyway, I believe it is one of the other ones that made national news, possibly. Anyway, so Meir is currently charged with a multitude of criminal charges in relation to this. And he is countersuing for basically, or let me rephrase that. From what I understand, from what I hear, the rumor is that he is countersuing. And he's going to be continuing this outrageous attack on the plaintiffs, I presume. Anyway, so the point of this is he, I believe, if he sues, he will be countersuing these officers, and then he will be also probably suing Michigan City as a political subdivision. So one way or another, I assume Michigan City, Indiana, is going to shell out some cash to either these police officers or the mayor, because there's two lawsuits basically going. Um, maybe they'll both be found to be frivolous. Who knows? I cut the police officers actually winning, and the mayor digging his heels in to basically probably get himself into further shit. I mean, he's already criminally charged, lost the election, etc. So, anyway, um, yeah. So I mean, these guys are suing, and they're all represented by the same attorney here. So I imagine their shit's gonna be nice and clean as far as paperwork. Um, but here you go. Here's the cause number and whatnot on that again, in case you want to check it out on your own. Anyway, as you can see, they asked for a little bit more time to respond to the complaint. They granted it, so I don't really know what kind of defenses Mir intends on using yet, or if he's even got an attorney at this point. He's got to be making attorneys nervous at this point, I would imagine. He's doing a lot of nonsense, getting himself into a lot of different courts for a lot of different stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I'll drop some links to the other videos so you can get a little bit of the backstory on this. But specifically, this guy here, Mr. Francisco Rodriguez, I believe is the officer that was in charge of the Digital Forensics Unit, which is what the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force turned into. This would be the officer that ends up with my phone when they confiscate it. So, if these officers lose, and their credibility is called into question, this could possibly open up a lot of other cases with his testimony involved. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Obviously, it may affect my case, depending on what his testimony is and all of this. There's a lot of accusations being flung around from both sides towards each other about lies and deception and deceit. And if Ron Mir is proven to be a liar, it affects certain individuals' cases that I know personally. If these officers, I know a few different people with these officers involved in their cases. I specifically, like I said, that's who my phone went to. Anyway, but yeah, it's man, Port County is a very interesting place. Stay tuned.